Oh, crikey, that's tricky. Well, I think I chose right, a trumpet. You can be really loud and bright sometimes, but also they're really great at playing, much softer lines as well. Morning. Favourite note? E flat. I'm thinking as a trumpet player, it's just got. It's got a nice sort of resonant sound to it. My favourite mode now, that is, I have no idea. Well, I probably gravitate much more towards the kind of Arabic modes, but I can't remember all their names. But I love the sound of Arabic maqams, they're called. Playing the recorder at primary school, we were allowed to. We had a little group, and we played together. We self-organised a little trio or quartet, and we used to rehearse in this house that was the headmaster's old house, but was no longer used for that. So we always felt really special because we were sort of a bit older and we were allowed to go into this sort of different part of the school, which wasn't officially part of the school. The trumpet. That's just really hard. It depends on the day. I could go. I love the music of Howard Skempton. I might put on his piano. There's a beautiful album of his piano music, but also, and I'd be quite happy to listen to some Ligeti as well. It'd be another favourite. I just think it's part of human nature to make sound and use sound in a way that brings people together and celebrates who we are, what we think about the world. It's a human nature. I remember Bruce Cole when I was studying community music masters at York University, reminding us that sometimes at the beginning of the project, what you actually needed to do was just to sit down and have a cup of tea with people rather than launching into the activity, getting to know people, having a cup of tea with them. I think it was about practicing. When I was at the RNCM studying trumpet, I studied with Howard Snell, fantastic trumpet player and brilliant teacher. Two bits of advice. One was to imagine the sound that I wanted. So rather than, do this to your diaphragm, breathe like this, etc., it was like imagine the sound that you want to come out the end of the trumpet. So that was one really good bit of advice he gave. And the second one was about practicing. Nobody really ever taught me how to practice. And he distinguished between the kind of technical side and that laboratory where you forensically take apart a technical problem, and separating that out from when you're actually practicing the piece in a musical way. That they're very different kinds of practice. And I can't believe that it wasn't till the end of a music college that I was able to distinguish between those two things, and it really improved things for me. I might have done it more in the past, maybe not so much these days, but I remember quite enjoying Arab pop music. I think I'm getting more. That's a good one. I'm definitely a 20th century. My musical preferences are 20th century onwards, from Stravinsky onwards. Stravinsky would be another favourite composer actually, but also, so tending towards atonal. But then I absolutely love Baroque and Renaissance music as well. Beethoven, but I'm not a big fan of. That's not my. I mean, I like them, of course, but they're not. It's not my absolute favourite. Oh, that's impossible. Like Buzzwords, yeah. Can't say. They're just such end of the spectrum that I get different things from both of their music. Well, someone who I think is extraordinary is somebody like Barbara Hannigan. They can just kind of do everything. Okay, Stravinsky. I've thought about this a number of times and now I can't think. That's not very original. I don't know, David Attenborough, Jim Al-Khalili, Edward Said. These would be some people I'd, love to meet. They start by making it, and they start by feeling that they have the power to create music, original music, and that starts from birth, from their very first utterances to when they start to play with sound makers, whether that's instruments or just objects around the house, and they start to make patterns and play with those patterns and respond to others around them making patterns and start to have dialogues through those patterns and the sounds that they're making. And if I think that's nurtured right from the start and those early utterances and sounds are valued, then hopefully you can just keep building on that. Don't know, don't care. Wigmore Hall, though I've got lots of amazing memories of the Royal Albert Hall. As a kid, played there in the school's prom on a number of occasions. Also a lovely memory of Wigmore Hall, doing a music maze on the stage there. So yeah, if I was to recommend, this is probably not exactly your question, but I love trilogies and big long sagas. The Cairo trilogy by Najib Mahfouz, and then completely different, but again, a long family saga. Well, that's a saga of two friends, My Beautiful Friend by Elena Ferrante. The whole concert, I'm not sure I can think of a whole concert. Oh yes. Well, I think one of the really memorable ones was one of the ones where we mixed professional musicians with non-professionals and young people, and we did Berrioz's Accordo, which involved 4 wind bands. I think we did it in Hall 6 at Symphony Hall, and basically it starts with a whistle. Everybody had a whistle from Acme Whistles, created in Birmingham. And it's about the idea of the factory closing and people coming to the town square, making music together. Berrioz's music is interspersed with where it just says basically an excerpt of opera music in the key of E flat or something like that. It was just an extraordinary occasion. At the same time, we had 100 saxophones playing Mouth, Feet, Sound by Salvatore Sciarrino. I think that's probably one of my favourite concerts. I don't know why this one stands out in my memory, but 7 Words by Sofia Gubaidulina. I think it was for ensemble and accordion, and James Crabb was playing the accordion. I just remember it being an incredibly powerful piece. Favourite moment when there's so many. I do remember, just that stands out, but I remember going to New York and meeting up with David Lang and Simon Halsey to talk about our enormous crowd out project for 1,000 Voices. Meeting up with him in his apartment in Manhattan. That was pretty good fun. And another one up there as well is watching Simon Rattle conduct the group at the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam. I think it was Dave Holland playing Bass Inventions by Turnage. That's probably up there too. I guess you haven't asked me about food, and I love cooking and I love eating. And I really love Arabic food. I think I would go for Musachen, which is chicken with it's really caramelized onions and sumac, and it's served on Arabic bread, taboon bread, and it would probably be cooked in the village oven, in the communal village oven, with all the juices. It's absolutely delicious, and then probably some lovely fresh salads to go with it. I haven't had it for ages.